House of Representatives passes revised budgets, Electoral Act amendment. Reps zero in on security as emergency measures continue. And lawmakers outline priorities for protecting national assets. Hello and welcome to You and Your Reps. I'm Victor, as well compliments of the season. The House of Representatives has passed the revised 2024 and 2025 Appropriation Acts as requested by President Bola Tinubu. Also during its last plenary in the year 2025, the House also passed a bill to amend the Electoral Act 2022 and enact a new electoral law.
My dear brother, congratulations.
The last plenary for the year commenced with notice of defection from 6 lawmakers from Rivers State who dumped the PDP for the APC.
Not a very happy day to me. I'm from Rivers State.
We also look forward to seeing more and more of the PDP family coming to join us.
The House then passed the Electoral Act Amendment Bill, having concluded a rigorous review which now awaits concurrence by the Senate. At the Committee on Supply, lawmakers repealed and reenacted the 2025 budget to authorize the withdrawal of 48.31 trillion naira from the Consolidated Revenue Fund of the Federation, extending implementation of the capital component to 31st March 2026. As requested by the President, the 2024 budget was also reenacted.
Under the 2025 Appropriation Act Repeal and Enactment, the sum of 6.674 trillion was reduced from the capital allocation and rolled over to 2026 fiscal year due to funding constraints. The initiative is expected to make the budget effective in meeting the expenditure of the governors given the anticipated increase in revenue generating profile in the next fiscal year.
For lawmakers, the year 2025 has been quite engaging.
Very productive legislative year. We've had innovative bills and effective legislation for this year.
It was well spent as far as legislative work is concerned.
There may have been some dark cloud, but I see a silver lining. And I see all of the reforms that the President has commenced already beginning to translate into good times for Nigerians.
See our country today. We are going to be better off. We've turned around. We are no longer in the danger zone. We've moved out of the danger zone.
I want to call for patient understanding and prayers, because as leaders, you cannot do everything.
The House of Representatives has adjourned plenary till Tuesday, the 27th of January 2026, to enable lawmakers observe the Christmas and New Year.
We later caught up with the member representing Toru Federal Constituency of Bauchi State, Ismail Dabo, for his perspective on the 2026 budget.
What we're seeing and the content of the budget defines the code consolidation. So we're sure that the budget will consolidate so many things. It will address a lot of critical issues that we're facing in the country. If you look at 2024 Appropriation Act, we try as much as possible as Parliament to make the budget in such a way that it will address the issue of inflation, so that we'll have a reduction in terms of inflation, which we have succeeded. Coming to 2025, yes, we have a kind of balanced economic situation to some extent. Inflation has reduced as well, even though it's not significant, but you can see the impact. Prices of commodities has come down. Cost of living has actually reduced in some aspect of the economy. So with this current budget, I'm very sure, if fully implemented and well managed by the executive and with proper monitoring by the parliament, then we will have a wonderful result at the end of the day.
Meanwhile, the clerk of the National Assembly has been directed to re-gazette the certified true copies of the tax reform laws as passed by the Senate and the House of Representatives. House spokesman Akin Rotimi says the directive emanates from the leadership of the National Assembly following recent allegations and public commentary that the tax laws published in the official gazette vary in content from the harmonized bills passed by both chambers and assented to by the president. Rotimi explains that the House of Representatives has already constituted a 7-man ad hoc committee to investigate the alleged discrepancies in the tax laws. The 4 new tax laws are the Nigeria Tax Act 2025, the Nigeria Tax Administration Act 2025, the Joint Revenue Board of Nigeria Establishment Act 2025, and the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Act 2025. In recent months, security has remained high on the agenda of the House of Representatives, particularly following President Bola Tinubu's declaration of a state of emergency. You and your reps caught up with the member representing Obaru Federal Constituency of Anambra State, Afam Ogene, for insight into how the 10th House is approaching the security challenge.
Clearly, I do not see any clear steps towards tackling the problem. We purchased some Tucano jets some time ago. We have not seen the strength of the Nigerian Air Force in this fight against insurgency. So there has not been any difference. Maybe you could say that in the past they had the audacity to enter city centers and bomb worship centers and all of that, which came down a little bit. But we are beginning to see a resurgence. The Kwara incident, people were in church praying. And by the way, it is nothing religious. Muslims and Christians are being killed. These people have occupied our buches. Let me even take the north central to the southeast, south, southwest. People travel from Lokoja through Edo State, get on to Delta State, and then to the southeast, some veer off to the south. And on daily basis, people are taken in the bushes. How many military exercises have Nigeria conducted in the bushes? Just so to send a message to them that you are not safe in this bush you are. In just 5 minutes, they take somebody into the bush, you don't know how to track the person. If I were president of Nigeria today, and we are talking of a security emergency, I would call all the governors within the federal roads that I have mentioned within your locality, in your state. In the places that are prone to these dangers, you must ensure that trees and bushes are cut 1 kilometer inside. And if people can see 1 kilometer down, then I don't think that any kidnapper will be lying in wait. If Kogi does that, Edo does that, Delta does that, Anambra does that, where will be the hiding place for kidnapping? That immediately reduces kidnapping by as much as 70%. That's kidnapping on the streets. Go to Kano, for instance. I just returned from a trip to Kano last week. And I was asking, why is it that Kano has never witnessed this kind of insurgency? The answer was staring me in the face. Kano is a flat bed. you could see more than 500 meters to 1,000 meters inside, left and right. And so where would the kidnappers be hiding? Now, the military, I have said, has not conducted any exercise in the bushes that I know of. Sometimes it could be a scare tactics. Even announce it, that we are, if you know you're a legitimate Nigerian living in these bushes, live here. Where anybody we see in the bushes will take him. Those kidnappers are human beings, they will hear the message. And if they don't leave, actually conduct bush exercises. Now, the catch is they don't know which location next you conduct such exercise. The problem is the weapons of war. The problem is in ensuring that the welfare that should get to the man in the trenches gets to him or her. So when you withdraw policemen from civil duty, I am all for it. But it is not the number of policemen you deploy that is the issue. It's not the number of army men you deploy. Now we have an army of the Army, Navy, Air Force of close to maybe 400,000, 500,000 men. How many are these insurgents? The insurgents in Nigeria, from reliable information that we've gotten, I don't think they number anything more than between 5 to 10,000 men. So it is not in the number of men. It lies in the guerrilla tactics that they are using and the sophisticated weaponry that they are carrying. That is why I thought that the use of air power ought to be a critical component of this war. He is a fine gentleman and officer, no doubt. Everybody, and that was why you could see the excitement. But I'm saying that beyond the shuffling of men, there are key issues in the war against insecurity. If the basic armaments for war are not available, General Musa is not going to stand in the front lines. It's the same men that will be in the front lines. So let's just hope that with him manning the military architecture, the defense architecture of the country, let's just hope that his employers will give him the necessary support and the tools to work with.
Our legislative terms and tools segment takes a look at a common phrase, but one you may not always notice: by the leave of the House. What does it really mean and how is it used? Let's ask Chairman of the House Committee on Rules and Business, Francis Waive.
The term by leave of the House, legislative language, that means that by the decision, permission granted by the House to take a decision on a particular matter. This term is usually used more when there's this decision to step down or let go of a particular matter, and it is said to be by mutual agreement, by the decision of the House. The technical term to use in saying so is by leave of the House. So we want to drop a motion that is already listed. We don't want to take it on that day by the decision of the House. Instead of using that general language, the technical parliamentary language to use is by the leave of the House.
This week on You and Your Reps, the committee segment takes us to the Subcommittee on the Protection of Critical National Assets. We sat down with its chairman, Ismail Dabo, to discuss the committee's priorities for the new year.
You know, my committee is a committee that is based on investigation. It's only when you investigate, you make findings, that you can be able to come up with something. It's not like any other committee that you go ahead, you work, the work is there, is a paperwork. No. This is an investigative committee to dig down and check what actually is going on with our assets, both movable, unmovable, and, physical assets. Then you can now begin to ask questions. You can now begin to apply the law where needed. So as it is, we're making findings, and we have called a lot of agencies to come and make submissions, like the NPA, the NNPC, a lot of them. We call them and we ask for documents. We ask what is going on with critical assets of the nation. How are they managing it? So by the grace of God, when we return back from break, you will see a lot of activities coming up. But we have to have basis for operations, and that is what we are doing. We are investigating a lot of things, NPA, a lot of government organizations. We are investigating the way they manage the assets. We're investigating the public-private partnership that they got into with private organizations. We're investigating how oil companies are using government-owned assets to operate in Nigeria. We're investigating how ports are being used by private companies. These are government-owned assets, whether they are paying their dues, whether they are paying what they're supposed to pay, whether they are managing those assets well as expected. So these are the things we're doing. And by the grace of God, I can assure you that we have gone far, and you will see a lot of things, a lot of activities by next year. We will have a lot of public assets that will put them out for Nigerians to have the impact. Those that want to, for leasing, through the proper channel, we'll ask Nigerians to go and check so that we utilize these assets. We'll have the maximum utilization of those assets. Then those assets that are mismanaged, we'll ask the executive to take those assets back to where they're supposed to be, and we'll make sure that they are being properly managed. So these are the things that we're expecting to do in the coming months, by the grace of God.
And that's You and Your Reps this week. Thank you for keeping us company through 2025. I am Victor Azu. Happy New Year, and see you next time.